Why talent doesn't matter. So, just with a show of hands, I wanted to ask you guys, who here thinks that they're actually talented at something? Okay. Who here thinks that they're not? They weren't born with anything specific. Okay. Who here has an objective in their lives and they'd like to work hard to reach it? Exactly. A lot of people tend to believe that just because we're talented or gifted that we deserve success. The people that are talented have an upper hand because they're talented, because they're born with it. It's something innate. They don't have to work for it. So basically, they're entitled for success. What I'm trying to say is a bit different. What I'm trying to say is that every one of us, when we leave this auditorium, could be talented, and here's why. If we look at the definition of what talent is, if we look at the definition of what talent it is, it's the natural ability or power to do something. As a person that follows this definition for now, let's just say, for the terms of the talk, I would consider myself to be talented. And as a singer and choreographer, I tend to hear the sentence, Ya Lahwi, I wish I could sing, I wish I could dance, I wish I could recite poetry, a few times a week. But in my opinion, they all come from people that claim that they're not talented when they really are. What I'm trying to say is this. Talents do not fall within the realm of the arts. They fall into a million other things. And talent, if anything, is a passionate drive. This drive can get us from one place to another, and the way that we get there is something that we decide to do. So I wanted to tell you guys a little story about how I found this idea, or came up with it. I found my passions at a very young age for singing and choreographing and dancing and reciting poetry. I had a lot of raw material, but I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't have the determination or the hard work ethic to get anywhere with my talents. I used to work on them, but I didn't really feel like I needed to give it extra effort to get anywhere with them. So that was a bit of a struggle because I realized I wasn't getting too far with my talents, but I was fine with it. I didn't really feel like I needed to give it a push. I wasn't very confident in them either because I felt like they weren't enough to get me somewhere. I'm not going to be the next Beyoncé anytime soon. So, having a lack of confidence and also some of the experiences that I went through in my childhood kind of made me stop working at them at all. As a young 13-year-old, I moved as a Hungarian Egyptian to Egypt, living in Oman for 9 years. And when I came here, I wasn't really accepted for who I was. People didn't really understand my brand of self-expression, and for several years I got bullied in school. I came to society that didn't really see talent as something that we should work on. Girls shouldn't really be singing either much. So it was a bit difficult to kind of understand that. I joined a different family dynamic, which was very different to me, people that didn't really understand me, and it was just a difficult process in general. So because I left my comfort zone in Oman, I left my Irish dancing team, I left my band, I left my friends, I left my home country. I felt like the world owed me something. I felt like for some reason, the world should show me something that I can't get. It should make life easier for me. I was entitled to have things on a silver platter and for things to go easier just because I was going through such a struggle. The struggle got worse and it got me into a spiral of depression, and the way I got through it was through self-mutilating as a form of relief for about 3 years. And that spiral just got worse and worse. My situation didn't get any better, and I completely forgot about my passions. My parents, my friends, my therapists, no one could really get me through what I wanted to get through. They tried, but it didn't really succeed because they didn't really understand the struggle. So what I did was this. I traveled and I left home because I was forced to, because I needed to recover and find myself. So I went to my hometown back in Hungary. And I spent some time there alone. And everyone that wanted to comfort me kind of realized Nada's going through something. We should be there in some way or shape or form. But I didn't let anyone get near me. I didn't let anyone talk to me. And I realized I'm going to save myself by myself. What I did was something really unconventional, but very simple. A simple Google search for hip-hop in Hungary. I decided I'm going to pick one of my passions and I'm going to pursue it and follow through with it. And I threw myself in the first big situation where I was uncomfortable. I joined an international dance camp filled with choreographers and dancers that have been dancing before they could even walk. I was nowhere near them technically. They could be doing Beyonce's choreographies and I'm doing the Macarena, literally. I'm just like, okay, what are you guys doing? So I got to know people and I pushed myself so hard. When we had rehearsals for 7 hours, I would finish the rehearsal and stay in the rehearsal hall and work on the choreographies. When I was done, I stopped the instructor. I'm like, could I take a video of you and break the moves down? I did everything I could to become the dancer that I wanted to be. When that happened, I realized that my passion is not the bunch of talents or talents, so-called talents, or passions that I have. That's not what defined me. What defined me was my hard work towards these things. So I had to go through a tough experience to be able to realize that the one thing that got me out of any situation, whether it was artistic, something related to my talent, something related to my work, was my hard work and not my passion. That's what defined me. When I came back to Egypt, I came back to the same circumstances, the same people, the same society, and the same family. The only thing that changed was me. I became a lot happier. I had a different outlook on life and a different work ethic. People started noticing, and 4 months ago, the producers of Hepta contacted me to choreograph certain movements in the film. I've been teaching hip-hop and dancehall classes for the past 3 years to beginners. I've been performing all over in Morocco, Spain, Germany, Hungary, and venues in Cairo, joining talent shows and even giving workshops to some of the performers that were performing today, who were amazing. Yes, please clap for them because they're my babies. Muhim. I joined a lot of extracurricular activities and I maintained a 3.9 GPA just by working hard. So, in honor of today's talk, what I'm trying to say is that my missing link was nothing but hard work. And I think it's the link that a lot of us are missing, especially in Generation Y. Now, Generation Y is this generation of people that think that we're entitled to get something. We want these instant stimulations. We have dreams, but we don't work hard towards them. We have a YouTube video and we expect it to buffer in seconds. We want something to be delivered to us in just a phone call. We want this instant gratification all the time. And we forget that everything in life needs hard work. So, what I'm trying to say is talent helps and it gives you a kickstart, but without training it just becomes this dormant potential that you can't do much with. So, expecting your talents to work hard to get you somewhere is the worst way to go, and it's actually super irrelevant. Let's look at some examples that are not me, that are trying to say that hard work is what matters and not talent. Mozart, someone we consider to be one of the most gifted composers of our age and time. People tend to forget that Mozart's father was actually a composer and a music teacher himself who used to make him drill effortlessly every day to get to his compositions and to practice on a daily basis. It was like a work ethic he had to follow. People don't tend to look at that. They just think he was a gifted young adult. Will Smith, someone we can all agree that is as talented as it gets, doesn't even think he's talented. He thinks he's just above average in terms of his talent, but in an interview in CBS, he mentioned that his work ethic is what got him through and got him to his successful roles. Beethoven goes through 60 to 70 drafts to create his masterpieces. We just hear the end result. J.K. Rowling, a woman who went from being penniless to one of the richest women on the face of the earth in the span of 5 years. She took her work to 12 publishers and they all refused, and she still kept going. Bob Fosse, one of the best choreographers and dancers of our time, who created his own style, which is the Bob Fosse style. This guy had pigeon toes, had a crouched back, he had a small body, and everything in his body wasn't suitable for the typical dancer that we all strive to be. Taban, I'm the perfect example, I'm joking. So, the guy worked on his rhythm and his style and his technique to create his own style to pass all the limitations that he had. That is not talent. According to our general convention, this guy is not talented, yet until this day, most movies are inspired by his movements. So the paradigm shift that I'm trying to discuss about thinking that talent doesn't matter has a good side and a bad side. It has a good side because now we know that success is in our hands and it's completely in our power. The bad side is we have no excuse to be anything but great. So when we say, I gained weight, you can't blame it on your genes anymore, you can blame it on the pizza you ate last night. Just so we're fair about it. So why have a mediocre life when you can have a brilliant life? When you can find your talents, rein them in, and work hard to get where you want to go, and it does not have to be artistic. You are your own competition, and you're your own limitation, and you're your own boundary. And the main reason for why I wanted to share this talk is because this is my life motto, and this is what I work with religiously on a daily basis. We all have something special about us, and we're all striving to reach the same place. We all want to find something that we want to do. We all want to work hard towards it and gain something out of it. Whether we gain people's satisfaction, our own gratification, that's something that's your objective. That's something no one can define for you. But I think we're all out to do more or less the same thing. And we all have talents that are dormant, talents inside of us that we haven't discovered, that you only discover through experimentation. When I had to write the description of my TED Talk and say what I was, creative entrepreneur artist, I felt like my list was too long, you sound too cocky. But at the end of the day, this is actually what I'm doing now. Will this saturate down into a few things later? Maybe. But for now, I'm experimenting and I'm seeing where I go with the things that I love doing and I can work hard towards. Non-artistic talents, just to list a few of them and to show you how they can get you from one place to another just with the missing link of hard work. Being diplomatic, being economical with resources, handling stress, motivating other people, and even breaking the ice in, like our presenter today, breaking the ice between the audience and the people that come to the stage. A lot of us are running towards a certain goal, but the one thing that makes you special is how hard you work towards what you want to do. That's the extra edge. A lot of people are famous now. A lot of people are singing. A lot of people are dancing. There are a lot of engineers and biologists. But what gives you your extra edge? It's what you do to make yourself a bit more special. So let's say you're talented at folding origami. Let's say you're talented at solving equations. Let's say you're talented at driving. Do we usually consider these to be talents or just things that are pastimes? When any of us park our car, we think, oh, I'm a great driver, I'm going to become famous one day. But if you fold origami, you could be the next visual artist. You could be the next math teacher that changes the lives of some of their students. Or you could be a stunt driver. It's all up to you. So before I end the talk, I just wanted to go through something that Andy Warhol said about how all of us will have 15 minutes of fame. If you had 15 minutes to tell the world what you wanted to do and what your life was about, what would you say? What did you bring to the table? And if you go home and think of that, which I invite you to do, the only thing that I would ask you to do is work hard to get there. Because talent doesn't matter. Hard work is the missing link.